Okay, so we're gonna go live right now about this. The Renaissance Daily, the Beacon for the Renaissance, breaking. Maryland school shooter dead, 2 students injured. Looks like the sheriff says the shooter at Maryland High School has died after a school rescue officer fired at him. St. Mary's County Tim Cameron told a news conference Tuesday morning that the shooter and the officer both fired a round, and it was known that the officer's bullet killed the suspect. Cameron says a female student and a male student were also wounded in the shooting in a hallway at Great Mills High School in southern Maryland. Here's the tweet from the Bureau of Alcohol and Tobacco and Firearms, the ATF. Breaking: special agents from ATF Baltimore, Hattiesville field offices are en route to shooting reported at Great Mills High School in St. Mary's County. Okay. The St. Mary's County Public School said on Wednesday, early Tuesday, that there was a shooting. The St. Mary's County Public School said on its website early Tuesday that there was a shooting at Great Mills High School, located in the southern end of the state. A Twitter post from St. Mary's County Sheriff's Office asked parents not to report to the school due to the incident, but to go to a high school in nearby Leonardtown instead. So, a Twitter post from St. Mary's County Sheriff's Office asked parents not to report to the school due to the incident. So, the St. Mary's Public School Council said on its website early Tuesday and that there was a shooting at the Great Mills High School located in the southern end of the state. But a Twitter post asked parents not to report to school due to the incident. Okay, so that was to protect the parents. The school is on lockdown and the incident has been contained. So why would the parents not be allowed to go to the school if the incident had been contained? The school is on lockdown and the incident has been contained, St. Mary's County Public Schools says. Great Mills High School parents, please do not respond to the school. Report to Leonardtown High School. Great Mills is about 60 miles southeast of Washington, D.C. So here we see on the map Great Mills, and here we see Washington, D.C. It's a decent trek, but that's it. The shooting comes 4 days before the National March for Our Lives, a rally for student safety inspired by last month's massacre at Majority Stoneman Douglas High School in Florida. Now, this is the part where you have to say to yourself, what are the facts? And here's the facts that we're getting right now. And I'm already getting some contradictory facts. And this is why school shootings are so strange. Like here, we hear of an officer who exchanged rounds with a shooter, killed the shooter, but then it says separately 2 students were injured. In what context were 2 students injured? Were they fired? Were they hurt? Which 2 students are there? And how was it a school shooting if nobody was shot? So why are you labeling it a school shooting and then talking about linking that for the March for Our Lives rally to try to stir up more fear about gun violence? Because this seems like an incident that was contained quickly of somebody who tried to do something, and it looked like that it got handled pretty quickly and efficiently by the person at the school. From what I'm putting together, and I'm just putting this together now, like just breaking at the same time. This is how I want to do this. Like, as I digest the news, I want you to see the process. The school is in the congressional district of Republican Steny Hoyer, who tweeted that he's closely monitoring reports and urged people to follow the instructions of local law enforcement of the state. So here's his tweet. So here we have a Republican. We have a congressional district that's run by a Republican, and you have a school shooting. Again, this doesn't seem like it was a school shooting. This seems like it was an incident, which they clearly say there was an incident at this high school. They don't say that there was a shooting, but they allude to it so that you think there was a shooting. The truth is, I would want to know the facts of how these 2 kids were injured. That's what we're going to dig into here. But what he said, Steny Hoyer said, was, looks like he's the whip, maybe minority, majority, I don't know. I'm closely monitoring reports of an incident at Great Mills High School in St. Mary's County. My prayers are with the students, parents, and teachers. Please follow instructions from local law enforcement in responding to the scene. So, there's an incident. The sheriff says that the incident is contained. Why are you giving prayer? I get it, I guess. Like, the students are in shock or whatever, so that's fine. Please follow the instructions of local law. Like, what's going on at the school right now if there was no real incident besides just the kids getting let out? Like, why would the parents not be allowed to come? And why would the kids have to stay there in lockdown if the incident had already been contained so quickly? That's my questioning here. So I'm trying to figure that out, because that doesn't really link up. Because it says right here that they put out a post this morning telling parents not to report to the school due to the incident, but to go to a high school in nearby Leonardtown. So what, are they going to transport the students now to a whole new high school to get picked up? Like, what's going at the scene of this crime? And this is looks like WSAV.com. Looks like an ABC affiliate or CBS or something. But let's see, when you and this is what I'm saying. If I search school shooting 2 injured, I guarantee you I'm going to get what just came up. Shooter, yeah, exactly. And it wasn't a school shooting. Shooter died, 2 injured in Maryland high school. See, it's not they twist the words so much, it's crazy. 2 students are in critical condition. Okay, so now they're in critical condition. They're not just wounded. Now they're in critical condition, following a shooting on Tuesday morning at Great Hills High School. So that was this morning. Okay. Per the AP, yes. A school resources officer engaged the shooter, who was confirmed dead by St. Mary's County Sheriff Tim Cameron in a press conference Tuesday afternoon. Okay? So this afternoon, in a press conference, the sheriff told everybody that the incident was contained, the perp was dead, he was engaged, looks like by a school resource officer. I'm guessing that's someone on a school premises who has a gun. I don't know what that is. I didn't know that was... maybe they had security. Like, I don't know the full details about this. The context. This incident comes days before schools across the country participate in the nationwide March for Our Lives demonstration. Again, another site who's pushing this link to Parkland, Florida, and trying to say that this is a school shooting when it clearly, the facts show that it's not. Now the students are critically wounded. Oh, look at this. A new Gallup poll shows 58% of Americans said the increase in news sources makes it harder to stay informed. See, that is so that you think you need to watch mainstream media because it's too complicated to navigate through the web of the alternate media. That's not true. You need to find a few sources that you trust, that you can verify, and then you stick with those sources for your news. And trust me on that, that's how you should do it. Right Side Broadcasting is great for just broadcasting of like C-SPAN and press conferences and things like that. If you want to be informed, there's websites out there that are legit. Okay, so I don't want to hear this nonsense that, you know, you can't stay informed because, oh my God, there's so much information coming at me. I've never heard, like, what an excuse. There's too much information. Like, really? Like, we're human beings. We're literally created to take in information. So I'm going to just go ahead and live tweet this right now real quick. Okay, this is ABC. 2 injured, student shooter dead in Maryland high school shooting. 2 students are injured. Oh my, I definitely don't want to hear this. Featuring Johnny. So 2 students are injured, 1 female student critically after a male student opened fire with a handgun before classes began at Great Mills High School in St. Mary's County. So now we're getting some more details here. So it looks like 2 students are injured, 1 female. They don't mention here. Oh, so okay, so yeah, 1 female. The female seems to be critically wounded after a male student opened fire with a handgun. It says that a male and female were injured. I'm guessing the male is the shooter here. So, and it looks like this is before school opened. So this doesn't look like a school shooting to me. This looks like, or it looks like maybe a crime of passion, or maybe something of that nature. Maybe there was a fight. The other student injured is a male student who was shot after the female student. So, okay, so no. So, okay, so the other student injured is a male, and that student was shot after the female student. Both students are being treated at area hospitals. So, it seems like there was a man with a gun. This girl got injured. Seems that she's critical. And another male student got shot after her. They're both being treated. The incident began at about 7:45 a.m. A school resources officer shot the shooter, but it's not clear if the officer killed the shooter or if the shooter killed himself. According to Sheriff Tim Cameron during a news conference, this is in quotes, "This is what you hope never happens, but this is what you prepare for," Cameron said. So again, I think they're playing this up more. I don't think this is, not to say that this isn't tragic, and not to say that people didn't get hurt here, and not to say that there isn't a level of danger that we should be concerned. I believe that metal detectors should be at all schools no matter what. I don't think that's a hard policy stance to take. I think that's very reasonable. You know, why don't you just put metal detectors going into school so these kids can't get guns in there in the first place? Like this, and why were they on school premises before school hours, and what were they doing? And I think there's more information here that needs to be known about this male and female and the shooter. Were they connected? Why was this enforcement officer there that early? And when did he arrive? And so there's more details here. You know, the sheriff police on the scene is working with the ATF as well as FBI agents from Baltimore office. Officials will hold another news conference at 1 p.m. And that was when they said the event is contained, said St. Mary's County Public School on its website. The school was placed on lockdown as well as nearby schools. The shooting comes a few weeks after a threat against the school circulated on Snapchat and other social media. Okay, so now we have... So this is coming together more to seem like this was something that was being pushed around as social media as maybe like a joke or maybe something serious, like in Parkland when there was a lot of social media. But this seems different. This seems like it was circulated on Snapchat, which is, we all know what Snapchat is. It's a private messenger, so they must have been forwarding these to different people. So this must have been a people thing. So that leads me to believe it must have been a joke or something, and maybe someone took it seriously, and maybe this guy might have brought a gun in, and maybe these two kids tried to stop him. Who knows, really? Actually, you know, I'm not going to make any assumptions here. Again, this is the thought process. I'm just showing you the thought process of how to do research. So this is like how you do research. Always question everything. Never take anything at face value. That is not the way the world works. You have to be smarter than that. You have to dig for yourself. Great Mills is located about 66 miles south of Washington, D.C. We already know this. About 1,500 students attend the high school, okay? It's a pretty big high school. Students across the country protest gun violence at schools during the National School Walkout on Wednesday. A shooter in Parkland, Florida killed 17. So here, again, another link to Parkland again. This is the third website in a row we've gone to where they're trying to link this to Parkland, where there's really no similarity there and there's no reason to do that to stoke any fear up. This wasn't a school shooting. This seems like something that was successful, a successful attempt by law enforcement to stop a shooting, if anything. It seems like this enforcement agent did his job the right way, stopped this student, and these two, but I would like to know more about these two students, this girl and this guy, and what were they doing, and why were they on school before school even opened, and I want to know those details. And of course from Great Fake News Network, CNN, here's a look from the scene outside Great Mills High School in Great Mills, Maryland, which is currently on lockdown. CNN, but this is their look outside, live right now. And there's a lot, it looks like there's a lot of law enforcement. Doesn't look like there's a lot of people. It looks very desolate. I don't see much action. I don't even see agents walking. It looks like everyone's just in their car or either in the high school. I don't see anyone. Okay, there's one person. There's a couple of city workers, it looks like. Looks like everyone is here, and I don't see much action going on, so I'm wondering why. Maybe, is there bomb sniffing things going on? Are they maybe looking to see if there's a bomb? Like, so we're hitting this live, and we're breaking this as it's breaking to you guys, okay? So we're breaking this, you know, as it's happening. So this is the look outside of Maryland Hills. This is the look. So again, I see a lot of law enforcement. I don't see a lot of law enforcement agents. I don't see a lot of activity. I don't see... It looks pretty calm. People seem to be acting normal. Those people over there seem to be acting normal. I don't see any urgency to the situation or anything that looks imminent to be a threat. But again, though, those constant references back to Parkland, you got to see the cycle here, right? You got to learn how to filter out what's nonsense in the news, right? So like I just showed you, what was it, 3 or 4 different articles all about this topic that's breaking right now, but it has nothing to do with the school shooting. It wasn't a school shooting. But on every article, it linked to Parkland so that it would stoke fear and make you think about school shootings. So I just want you to see how the media operates in their little innuendo and how they work in subtext and how they use situations to their advantage to try to push their agenda. Don't be blind to it. All parties do it, but the way that the left does it is just so disgraceful, and I think we all need to stand up and say, this is ridiculous. Stop the violence now. There should be metal detectors at schools. There should be more enforcement agents like this around schools everywhere. I don't understand why this isn't a thing everywhere. And local, municipal, state, and federal government all need to come together and be a cohesive unit on this and really protect our children. This is not a game. This is our children. This is our youth. These are the future leaders of our nation. They are the most precious things that we have in our nation. And I think that we should always remember that. So again, we're not diminishing, and I'm not diminishing anyone in any of these incidents, and I hope they all recover well. I want to know more facts. I want to learn more facts as a researcher, and this again is showing you how research takes place. That's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to show you how you take live research and break it down to try to figure it out in your head and say, what is this? Because that's the big question.